Hey, hello everyone, it's Faye and welcome back to another speed build video. So for today, I decided to make another shell challenge. It was hosted by Holly Dolly as a celebration of her 1,000 followers on Twitch. And honestly, it was really fun challenge to start with. As the rules were like basically like any other shell challenge, like don't touch the exterior walls or just add any additional walls, but we can um, modify like the interior walls that were already on the shell. But the twist of this challenge, which I really liked, is that we can duplicate the shell. And another rule is while making the rooms, we have to make a room that represents Holly, and another room that represents ourselves. So when I was looking at the shell, I was thinking of making like two houses to just represent like each person in particular. So that's when the idea came for making like two neighboring houses like just next to each other in one lot. And in additional, we can like duplicate the shells. So I thought of making it like two-story houses. So that's what I mainly were thinking about at the first. But starting from there, I honestly didn't know what to do after. So I just like started um putting the exterior decorations and everything. And from there I um just went through the process and said, okay, let's just start with this and see where we're going. And honestly, because I didn't know what I'm supposed to be like doing, I was just thinking of keeping it a little bit simple. So I tried to make a family houses, just like keeping it like a suburban style. And at the same time, I was supposed to make one of the houses like in Holly style. And honestly, I don't know her much because I recently just discovered her account. So I just went through her page and saw all her creations just to see what kind of vibe she goes with. And I really loved the style that she goes with modern houses. And honestly, I felt like it kind of feels like mine. So I just started from there, like keeping the homes really simple, like just in the neighborhood, how can I say it? Like a simple neighborhood, but at the same time in the interior, we're making it like into each person's style. So that's what I mainly tried to do in this build. At the same time, I didn't know about her story and everything, so I tried to make the her family home like having this extra room just for streaming since this shell is all about celebrating her milestone on Twitch. So that's what I mainly tried to focus on, like keeping her house more a little bit modern and at the same time having this extra room, and everything else, it just like went with the flow. I didn't know what to do at then, but I just kept like building, and to be honest, it was a little bit more detailed than I was like attempting it to be. But at the end I really liked it. Just the video of making it was really long. So that's why I tried to make like separate videos of the exterior and interiors, because even the interiors were like really detailed than any other houses. And I really love making clutters everywhere. So I just try to make the videos less longer to just not to be bored with it. And at the same time, like you can choose what day you want to watch the exterior or the interior or whatever you like, or you can watch them both. So yeah, that's the main idea of what I was like going with at the first. So yeah, and that's why will be like three videos of this house, one for exterior and the other two are for interiors of each house. It's like each house have its own video. So yeah. And here we can see the exterior of the houses are started to come along together. And at first, I was thinking of making them a little bit different, but at the same time, the cells are the same. So I try to keep the house like shapes and just the exterior of it really similar, but just having this little like small different places. So that's why I try to make the front porch a little bit different, but the other things they just like went kind of the same. But at the same time, the floor plan of the interior is really different from one another. The first house is having it's like for a family of four, like the parents and two children, like two girls, like one teenager and one like toddler. And the other house like just for three persons, like just the parents and a teenager who's apparently streaming. And yeah, that was the main idea about it. So here I was just trying to make some landscaping. I gave like each one of the houses a entry like pathway, as well as having a parking space in front of the porch porch. I know it's porch, but I don't know why I keep saying porch. I'm not a native English speaker, but at the same time I know how it's pronounced, but I don't know why every time I want to say it, it's come out like a different way. So yeah. Anyway, so here at the middle parts, I know there was like a empty space, and at first I was keep thinking like just hide that area, not hide it, but like make it full with plants and trees. But at the same time I was thinking it's a little bit longer, so maybe I can make the plants in the upper in the closed area of the house, and the other place like making at first I was thinking of placing the bins, yeah, recycling bins there. But at the same time, I was thinking about the teenagers that in the both houses and also the toddlers. So I tried to make a pathway for like bikes instead of like placing them with the cars in the parking space. Maybe they can have like their own bike places. So yeah. And here for the backyard, I try to keep that pathway that's coming from the front, as long as possible to making it until the back of the houses, just to make that place, like the lot is not like just randomly there, but it's kind of like built in. So it's like customized for these families. And yeah, that's what I try to make in it until the um how can I say it? Like until the back of the houses. And at the same time I try to keep the lot really full. That's why I said before it's really detailed. It's like every corner of the lot has something. Either it's built in or like plants. And yeah, and actually even the interiors are like this, like every corner of the houses have something. Nothing is left behind. And I think the reason of that is because in the day where I was like building this house, I was kind of sick before, and that day I started to feeling a little bit better. So I just tried to build it since it was like already with the deadline of the challenge. But at the same time, whenever I'm kind of sick or really sick, when I try to build, I tend to be like really slower than the normal. So, and whenever I'm building like slowly, I keep like I just keep the catalog a little bit longer than before. And at that time, I keep looking at the items. And every time I see an additional item, I'll be like, okay, this should be here. Or this should be filled with something. So that's how it went from the first place. I wasn't intending to make it really, like, really this detailed, but that's how it went. I just went really slow with building, and I just keep looking at things, and I would say, no, this should be there. So yeah, that's my story of this build. And here for the front porches, I try to fill them, like give them a place to just sit or just to relax, as well as the back ones, because I really like when I see like these kind of houses on Pinterest or just like in the movies or anywhere I just look at them. I love when they are filled with some things like um just functional things, not just decorative. Like we can sit there or just like just to relax and have fun. And it doesn't have to be only on the back of the house. Like they can also be in the front. And they just make it like really beautiful places to just to keep that front place really not plain. So yeah, I just love the idea about it, and I try to make it possible also in this build. I think not just in this one, even in other ones, but yeah, I just really love that idea. That's why I try to make it in every possible build I do. And here for the backyard, I okay, at first I tried to put some items like different from the other, like from one another between the houses. But after I just were thinking like it's the same, it has like the same how can I say it? Like layout. So at first, I was thinking of making the houses a little bit different since like one of like it different personalities. But at the same time, I kept thinking like maybe this families, they were like friends, like maybe they were like friends from before, and when they bought houses, they bought them like really close to keep their families growing together. And at the same time, while they were like building these houses, maybe they were making them a little bit similar to one another. So yeah, that's how I try to imagine it. And yeah, that's how the backyard kind of went with it. I know the inside is really different, but I try to keep the outside a little bit similar just to keep that story a little bit going with this. I don't know why, but every build, I think I already said this before or not. I don't know. I really don't remember. But I try to imagine in every build there is like this story behind this family, or just the in general. Like there is a story behind this lot. It's just to make the just make the build a little bit more customizable, and maybe even for decorating, you will like make it um more personalized, and maybe you can know exactly what to do with it if like the build has its own story. That's how I try to imagine it and every time. Otherwise, I won't know like what to do with the build. That's why I try to make a story or just imagine it however it will be. So just to follow that story, I try to give them like similar items, um, like having that chess table. The other house have it in the front, so I try to make this one in the back, and like just to have them a little bit different from one another. And at the same time, I gave them this barbecue place and having a table as well as the pool. At first, I tried to make the other house pool like kind of small just to keep it like a little bit different, but I just went with it and I said, okay, just keep it like similar. And yeah. And after that, I kept like looking at the backyards, but it really felt a little bit plain. I didn't know at first like what to place in them just to give them like how can I say it? Like that shine that every build should have. But at the same time I tried to give it more simple. So I kept thinking, and I finally just said, like, what better thing to make the empty places really full and really beautiful than plants? So that's what I tried to do in both of the backyards. I tried to place like different ones from one another. So that's why I kept like going back and forth between them. And yeah, so at the end, I just went back to see what's missing from the builds and placing that tray from Ecolesta, I think. I really love it because like it's really beautiful and gives like this cluttered place in that table. So yeah, and at the end, I just went back to place some like I don't know how to say those. Anyway, for the lighting around the builds and just to make it in the night like not really dark, and to like just to make the sense while they're walking, like they can see everything they want to see around the build. So yeah, just try to keep it more realistic. So I place those tiny little things like all over the place, even in hideouts, like between the bushes. So yeah, and that's it for today's video. You can find this home on the gallery. My ID is FayMoon98. Also, you can find the tray files on my Patreon, which will be linked in the description box down below, as well as my Instagram account. And I hope you guys had a really wonderful time. Thank you so much. Bye bye.